In the book Crossing the River with Dogs on page 21, I chose problem set number 3, and it's called Follow the Bouncing Ball. It says, a ball rebounds 1/2 of the height from which it is dropped. The ball is dropped from a height of 160 feet and keeps on bouncing. What is the total vertical distance the ball will travel from the moment it is dropped to the moment it hits the floor for the 5th time? So I started to organize my information that was given to me in a table, and I started to write things down first so I knew I could better organize my thoughts. I know that it rebounds 1/2 of the height every time. So every time it bounces down, it goes back up 1/2 of the height that it went down. It's dropped from 160 feet. And then it says how many feet on the 5th time the ball hits the ground. So when it goes up and down, the 5th time it hits the ground, that's the 5th time it drops. So the way I solved this problem the first time is by creating a table. I know that it's going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And on the 5th down, that's when we're stopping. It's first going to go down 160 feet, we know that. And then it says 1/2, so divided by 2, that's 80. So it goes back up 80, it's going to go back down 80, and then divided that by 2, it's going to go back up, it rebounds up 40, and then it's going to go down 40, divided by 2, that's up 20, down 20 divided by 2, that's up 10, down 10, and that's the 5th time it drops. So from here, all I have to do is add up every single time it bounces and I can get my answer. For me, I know that it first bounces down, it falls down 160, and then it goes up and down 1/2 of that. So it really 80 plus 80, or 80 times 2 is 160. 40 times 2 is 80. 20 times 2 is 40, and 10 times 2 is 10. And then I can add these all up. The easiest way for me to add this up is all the zeros add up to 0, and then 6 and 4 make 10, and 2 and 8 also make 10, so that's 20. And then adding that extra 6, that's 26. So there's a 6 goes here, 2 goes up here, 2 plus 2 is 4, and that has bounced up and down vertically 460 feet the first way. However, when thinking back about this, I realized that it probably wouldn't be the most efficient way to add this, especially if we were doing this and the problem asked for us to maybe go 50 times, not the 5th bounce. In a short bounce, that's an easy way to organize your thoughts, but if I were to do this in a longer form, it wouldn't be the most efficient. So I went back and decided to use reasoning to kind of attack this problem from a different way. So I know that I'm doing 5 bounces, and because these are going up and down, I'm going to multiply by 2 every single time. The first time I am going to do 160. 160 divided by 2 is 80. 80 divided by 2, or 1/2, is 40. 40 divided by 2 is 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10. And I do not multiply first because I know that whatever my sum is here, it's going to do that twice because it's going to go up and down. So I can add this up and then multiply by 2 at the end. So when I add all these up, I get 310 times 2, because it's gone up and down, is 620. However, I know that it didn't bounce up 160 the first time, so then I'm going to subtract 160 from that original total. So for me, the easiest way to think about this subtraction without borrowing is to add 40 to 620. So I have 660 minus 160 is 500, but because I added that 40, I need to subtract the 40 from that total. So 500 minus 40 is 460 feet, so that we know that it bounced up and down 460 feet vertically as the total on the 5th bounce.